Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle something absolutely crucial that every single professional has to face. But, very few of us are actually taught how to handle effectively. And that's the tickless task of corporate decision-making. Whether you're stepping into your very first corporate role, or maybe you're just looking to sharpen your professional toolkit, learning how to make smart, structured choices, well, it's going to be your ultimate superpower.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're handed a complex task. Maybe it's your first time ever handling a department budget, or you've been asked to conduct market research for some brand new project. You just stare at your screen and suddenly, boom, choice paralysis sets in. There are just way too many options, way too many variables, and that pressure of making the quote-unquote wrong choice just feels totally overwhelming. Deciding what to do and exactly how to go about it can feel incredibly chaotic, especially when you're just starting out.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover 1, the decision dilemma, 2, why good choices matter, 3, the decision-making matrix, 4, navigating the process, and 5, planning for success. Section 1, the decision dilemma, or the chaos of choice. So, we have to acknowledge right out of the gate that deciding what to do and exactly how to go about it is a totally essential part of professional life. But without a system, it's often this confusing, overwhelming experience. At its core, decision-making is really simply the act of choosing one option among a set of alternatives to achieve a desired goal. It sounds super simple on paper, right? But in practice, it requires a serious level of cognitive effort. You gotta weigh options, consider outcomes, and actually take action. But here's the good news. While it can definitely be a difficult process at first, with practice, making sound and effective choices really does become second nature. It's like a muscle, and we're gonna train it today. Section 2, why good choices matter, the stakes.
You see, mastering this skill isn't just about getting the job done. It's fundamentally about building your credibility as a highly effective, super reliable team member. Making structured decisions brings massive benefits to your organization. I mean, it literally saves time and money, but cutting out all those unnecessary tasks and narrowing down your options quickly. Beyond that, it boosts productivity and morale. When you make efficient decisions, you clear up your mental bandwidth for creative thinking, and your team feels totally confident in your direction. It also ensures a much better use of resources. You're accurately allocating what you have based on the current state and potential costs. And ultimately, it helps you detect the right opportunities by properly weighing variables, like past experiences and anticipated outcomes.
All right, Section 3, the decision-making matrix, the corporate cheat code. So how do we actually do this? Well, here's our core solution. It's beautifully simple, and it'll immediately relieve the anxiety of unplanned choices. On the left-hand side, you list out your alternatives, literally every possible path you could take. Then, on the right-hand side, you list all the corresponding benefits and drawbacks, the positive and negative costs for each of those options. By filling in this grid, you're visually mapping out the strengths and weaknesses of every single route. This matrix basically refines your entire evaluation process. Instead of just staring at a blank wall, relying purely on intuition or, worse, panicked emotion, you are now fully equipped to make sound, logical choices based on hard data. You can clearly see the absolute most advantageous path forward. Section 4, navigating the process, the matrix in action. Now, the absolutely crucial point here is knowing exactly how to apply this matrix to real-world corporate scenarios. Theory is great, but execution is everything. Every decision-making process goes through 3 specific stages. Stage 1 is the stimulus. This is the trigger, that aha moment you become aware of a problem or an opportunity. Stage 2 is the analysis. This is where you evaluate your options using your matrix to really understand the state of play. And Stage 3 is implementation, where you execute the plan you've chosen. Breaking it down into these 3 steps makes a complex process feel incredibly achievable, even if you're the absolute newest employee in the room. Okay, let's look at this in action. Imagine your stimulus is that your department desperately needs to hire new employees. Instead of just picking the person you had the most fun chatting with, you pull up your matrix. Option A is candidate 1, option B is candidate 2. You objectively weigh the pros and cons, their experience, salary expectations, cultural fit, the whole shebang. The matrix strips away the emotion and ensures you make a choice that actually drives long-term productivity. Here is another quick scenario. Setting up a new client database. Say you have 3 different software vendors to choose from. You just list them as alternatives. Then, in your benefits and costs column, you compare the ease of use versus the financial cost of each platform. Seeing it all laid out like this ensures you're making accurate resource allocations when dealing with crucial tech infrastructure, rather than just guessing which software looks the prettiest. Or consider a much higher stakes scenario like investing organizational funds or corporate stocks. The matrix is absolutely essential here. You have to evaluate the potential return against massive risks, like financial instability or sudden market crashes. Weighing these variables properly in your matrix lets you make a totally logical, calculated choice before committing a single dollar of the budget. The value of this approach is so obvious once you see it. A planned decision takes a structured, calm form that provides real relief and clarity. An unplanned decision, on the other hand, well, it's unstructured. It relies purely on guesswork and almost always results in frustrating chaos and completely wasted effort. Oh, and it's also super important to understand the scope of your choices. Tactical decisions handle the day-to-day, routine activities of your business, like, say, restocking office supplies. But strategic decisions, those require a holistic view. They involve teamwork, analyzing broad sets of data, and adapting plans to hit major, long-term organizational goals. The matrix works beautifully for both, but it is absolutely vital for those big strategic moves. And finally, Section 5, Planning for Success, tying it together. We really need to see how decision-making fundamentally builds upon and partners with solid planning. Honestly, they are absolutely inseparable partners. You just can't have one without the other. If your decisions aren't well planned with really clear goals, solid timelines, and proper resource allocation strategies, your route will easily become derailed. I mean, even a great decision that is poorly planned will quickly derail and lead to super frustrating results. The source material uses a bit of jargon here, mentioning cognitive dissonance. To translate that simply, when you're faced with a really tough choice, your brain kind of feels conflicted and uncomfortable holding those conflicting thoughts. By using the matrix and really planning your route out, your brain is just gathering new information to organize the data, resolve that contradiction, cure your own confusion, and confidently move forward. So, let's just recap the crucial steps to ensure success. First, gather and organize your data. Second, craft your comparisons using the matrix. Third, weigh the probabilities and risks of all your options. And finally, and honestly, perhaps most importantly, execute your chosen course of action and stick to your plan with conviction. Even when things get grim under pressure, you can completely trust the process because you know your decision was rooted in solid logic, not just fleeting emotion. And that brings us to the end of our explainer. But I want to leave you with this final quick thought. Take a look at your calendar for this week. Which upcoming project or problem are you going to conquer using the decision-making matrix? Don't let choice paralysis win. Map it all out, weigh the costs, and step into your very next meeting with absolute confidence. Thanks for joining me and happy decision-making.